When was the last time you truly focused on yourself? Not on what others are doing, not on their approval, not on keeping up appearances. Just you, your growth, your peace, your purpose. For most people, the answer is, I can't remember. Because modern life is engineered to keep your focus outward, scrolling, reacting, explaining, and chasing. But here's the truth most people never realize. The moment you shift your focus inward and learn to stay silent, you change everything. Why most people stay stuck? The cycle of external validation. Let's break it down psychologically. From a young age, we're trained to seek approval, first from parents, then peers, then society. This conditioning makes people measure their worth by how they are perceived. They wake up, and the first thing they do, check social media, compare, react, worry. They explain themselves constantly. I didn't mean it that way. I hope they're not mad. I just want them to understand. And in doing so, they leak energy. Energy that could be building their future is instead spent trying to manage perceptions. Validation is addictive, but it's also a trap. You will never be free as long as your peace depends on someone else's approval. The breakthrough, silence and self-focus. Now imagine the opposite. You walk into a room and say nothing. You're calm, centered, grounded. You observe. You listen. You don't try to impress. And yet, you command attention. Because real power doesn't chase. It radiates. Real confidence isn't loud, it's controlled. Silence is a magnet. It makes people wonder. It shifts the power. It forces attention inward. It helps you reconnect with the only voice that matters, your own. Why most people can't handle it? Here's the catch. When you start focusing on yourself, people around you won't get it. They'll say you've changed. They'll call you distant, cold, selfish. Some will try to bake you back into old dynamics. Why? Because your growth threatens their comfort. Your silence reflects their noise. But here's your reminder. You don't owe anyone your energy. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Your evolution is not up for discussion. Distractions are the thieves of energy. Let's talk about energy. It's your most precious currency, and yet most people spend it recklessly, arguing with people who won't listen, justifying choices to those who don't matter, reacting emotionally to every insult, delay, or unmet expectation. Imagine waking up each day with 100 energy points. Now ask yourself, how many do you give away before noon? Most people don't feel tired because they do too much. They feel tired because they give away their focus to things that drain them. Human nature, why we chase distractions. You're not weak for wanting attention. You're human. From childhood, we're wired to seek connection. We want to belong. We want to be liked. But not all attention is healthy. Not all connection is meaningful. And not every conversation deserves your presence. The moment you learn to say nothing instead of reacting, you become powerful. Reclaiming your power, the path to detachment. Here's how you start the shift. Audit your habits. How often do you check your phone? How? Many unnecessary conversations drain you daily. Observe your triggers. What makes you feel the need to prove yourself? Cut the noise. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to respond to everything. Because silence isn't emptiness, it's focus. It's energy being rerouted inward. Emotional detachment, the master key. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care differently. It means choosing peace over approval, purpose over performance, power over reaction. Detachment gives you clarity. It protects your emotions from manipulation. It shields your goals from distractions. The people who used to trigger you, they'll feel powerless in your silence. The power of walking away. Sometimes your silence is the closure. You don't need to explain why you left. You don't need to argue your worth. You don't need to wait for them to get it. Walking away is not weakness, it's self-respect. It says, I will no longer participate in anything that costs me my peace. And here's the twist. The moment you stop chasing, people start noticing. The moment you stop proving, people start respecting. Silence is the strategy of the strong. Strong people don't react. They don't explain. They don't beg. They observe. They decide. They move. Why? Because silence forces others to confront themselves. It removes the distraction of your reaction. It flips the power dynamic entirely. What happens when you stop explaining yourself? When you stop explaining, justifying, or defending, you take back control of your energy. You protect your mental clarity. You deepen your self-respect. Most people are not ready for that version of you, because they relied on your emotional availability to keep themselves entertained or validated. But when you cut access, you become untouchable. Conclusion: your focus is your freedom. The most life-changing decision you can make is this. Stop chasing. Start building. Stop explaining. Start evolving. Stop reacting. Start observing. Because when you focus inward, in silence, without needing applause, the world has to adjust. And by the time they realize your value, you've already risen far beyond their reach. Remember, your silence is not your weakness. It is your strategy, your shield, your strength, your power. And the more you protect it, the more unstoppable you become.